It's wild to me opening up a project I was working on like even just like 2 months ago and seeing how many things I have learned since then that I wasn't doing in this project. Case in point, this is that Radiohead house project we were working on when flying back from London, I think. That was like 3 months ago, and I was still doing all of my synths completely in MIDI and not rendering anything to audio. And now my workflow is so heavily like make a thing in MIDI, but then put it to audio so that you can put effects on it, so that you can like manage the tails more easily and actually like see what you're doing and actually use the audio file visually, not just listen to it. Today was a super long day of RLCS, so I just pulled up an old project that I knew I wanted to work on and just let myself kind of work on a few things. I haven't worked on this project again in months, so I'm just going to kind of play it from the beginning here. You'll get the idea. This is the classic Radiohead, everything in its place synth that I built myself and I'm kind of building like a house track out of. So in the drop, this sound originally sounded like this. Which is just like objectively way more boring. I like the shape. I like that for like the way it kind of plays with the percussion, but the specific like wah 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 it just kind of like sounded like a frog or something to me, like wah wah wah. So we bounced it. So it was audio that we could look at and manipulate if we wanted to, and then we put a step filter on it, which is doing the majority of the work there, and then a shaper box to carve out the beginning just to make sure that nothing was, all those reverb tails weren't overlapping with the kick. And that was just way more interesting to me, especially with like the way that the step filter there is interacting with the reverb. So then a similar situation, we took this guy who sounds like this every once in a while. That sound also is kind of boring. It's kind of interesting, but it's not super interesting. So we put a step filter on it as well, a different one, this one, which kind of chopped it up in weird ways. It let different things through. Every single time was just like a little bit different, which was kind of cool. And then we put an OTT on top of it to give it that kind of like buzzy edge that I liked. And then we bounced that. And then we put a compressor on it here and rearranged a few other things. This compressor was, because this is some pretty dramatically wide decibel ranges here, and I was trying to like knock that down a little bit, and you can see that is a little bit better here, or mainly just kind of brought up the lower bits. This is still, I think, maybe wider than I would be okay with shipping this song if I were like actually put the song out. Yeah, the step filter here, it has filter cut here, but I've actually turned off the filter cut. It's doing a little bit of gating, and then it's also doing some panning, and then it's mainly just got some reverb that sounds really nice. And then the OTT is doing some work, and then we kind of chopped it up a little bit, and we pulled the tail from the other side and put it at the beginning here so it actually kind of swells in. kind of a fun effect there. You know, it's also interesting to me just how loud these are because of how, and just looking like how low I have these pulled down. I actually could see myself maybe like putting a gain knob on it and turning it down just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room in the slider, but kind of doesn't matter. And yeah, that was basically all I did today. If we, you know, like mute these and just play these sounds here, this is what it sounded like before. So yeah, by contrast, there's just so much more space to that, so much more fun and ear candy. So cool to see myself, you know, be able to go back to an old project, add new details and stuff, and I'm excited to continue to build new things and yeah, keep using these skill sets. So yeah, that's all we have time for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow.